everyone, and welcome back or welcome to the channel. I have returned to Subaru of Wakefield to take a look at the top features that makes up the 2025 Subaru Forester Premium. For a lot of vehicles under $40,000, you miss out on the creature comforts and the overall value. But 2025 is a bit different for the Subaru Forester, and in today's video, we're going to find out why. So starting off with the exterior, we have to address the new design. And that is actually one of the top features that makes 2025 so compelling, because in the past, the Forester wasn't always the most aggressive or dynamic, but you can't say that anymore for this new generation with the resculptured front and rear fascias that definitely give you more of that boxier shape that I think Subaru is trying to go for now for their lineup. Now we also have a new color, which is River Rock Pearl, that I wish Subaru would offer for all their models, such as the Crosstrek, the Outback, and maybe even the WRX. You're going to have LED steering responsive headlights along with LED fog lights, which does become available on trims for the premium and above, so the base trim does not get LED fog lights. This gives you more of an upscale and modern front fascia. Also, we have a new grille design, which is a shield effect, as Subaru calls it, and it definitely gives you more of an aggressive look than in the past. Part of an optional package, we do receive blind spot detection and rear cross traffic alert for an additional $1,200. That also gives us a power liftgate as well. Now that is just a few features that really sets a tone for this model and why the premium is a go-to option, but it's what you get standard that really makes a world of a difference compared to last generation. Also taking a look at these side mirrors, you do get gloss gray accents, which does add a nice color contrast on our model today. And we do get power adjustability. They are manually folding and heated as well. Then as you make your way around to the back, nothing too noteworthy in regards to, say, an LED taillight design or LED turn signals, but you do get new taillights. You also have a gloss black trim that connects into the center portion of the tailgate and more aggressive cladding for the rear bumper. Making our way inside the Forester, what is a nice appetizer of what you will expect once we check out the interior. You got keyless entry, and also a push button start. But it's the interior where the premium trim really shines. If you remember last generation or you owned an older Forester, that with the premium you missed out on the multicolor information display that sat above the infotainment system, and you didn't really receive all the technology and the safety features that you really wanted to have in a family-friendly vehicle. But 2025 sets a tone for a completely different shift for what Subaru is all about. One thing to keep in mind here is that for the premium trim, it starts at $32,000 and sits just above the base trim in the lineup. Subaru's been focusing very heavily on the premium trim for all their models for 2025, including the Outback, as we saw in a previous video. But for the Forester, this might be the go-to, and it really begins with the driving environment. So starting up front, you are going to receive 3-level heated cloth seats for both the driver and passenger, with the driver's side having 10-way power adjustability and lumbar support, whereas the passenger will have to find the ideal seating position manually, and that is not too much of a surprise and not anything different from last generation. More noteworthy is the fact that Subaru reshaped these seats, giving you better bolstering, support, and cushioning. And in this market, cloth seats, it can be a hit or miss, where they're a bit stiffer, they're not very comfortable, and also the bolstering is lacking. But Subaru addressed that for 2025 for all trims, in fact, not only the premium. So when you are on some mountain roads, maybe you're skiing and snowboarding during the winter, or you're camping during the summer, and you're in those twists and bends on a nice winding back road, you'll be seated in place and you won't be swaying around too much. And that was one thing that we did experience last generation. So right then and there, that is one huge improvement from 2024. But a lot of the features that will draw your attention and are highlights for 2025 centers around the dashboard and, more importantly, the infotainment system. For the premium, you now have an 11.6-inch touchscreen with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto compatibility to go along with a wireless phone charging pad. Now, if you remember, last generation, that was a desired feature that people wanted to see. And the fact that Subaru listened and incorporated one into the interior is definitely something that has been a nice add-on for 2025. Now, more importantly, with this new screen, it replaces the smaller 6 and 8-inch touchscreens found in last generation, but also replaces the multicolor information display that was found above the infotainment system. Now, for the Premium last year, you got more of a trimmed down version of that. You couldn't go into your eyesight driver assist technologies. You really didn't have a lot of customizability with that multi-information display. Whereas now, that's all centered around this new head unit. Now, some people are going to say, oh, with the 11.6-inch touchscreen, we lose a lot of the dials and buttons, but it is user-friendly and very easy to use, in my opinion, owning a Subaru WRX with this screen. So you are going to have physical dials for the volume and tuning. You're also going to have physical buttons for your front and rear defrosters and heated side mirrors. And you're still going to have physical buttons for the dual zone climate control. That is new for 2025 for the Premium. You did not get dual zone climate control back then. It was only single zone. As mentioned earlier, with this screen, you are going to have 3-level heated seats, and those icons will be found at the bottom of the screen. And all your climate controls are conveniently within arm's reach. So even though some people are going to say, I wish we had the dial still, this is all still user-friendly. Now, from this screen, you can go through your vehicle control systems and driver assistance features, such as X mode, your cruise control acceleration speed, your auto vehicle hold, steering responsive LED headlights, and auto start stop. Now, of course, you might want to keep the steering responsive headlights on, but if you don't want to deal with that auto start stop system, you can just turn that off with the press of a button and icon. Now, for your driver assistance features, you do get pre-collision braking, also forward collision warning, lane departure warning, and rear cross traffic alert and blind spot detection for our model. That is not standard equipment. That is optional, and I would definitely recommend going with that package. Even though it is an additional $1,200, I still think it is worth it at the end of the day. So added for 2025 is valet mode. So if you are at a restaurant or a hotel, you can put in a PIN code, and that way the valet won't be driving too aggressively with your vehicle. If you take a look at the gauge cluster, nothing too different from last year at all. You're still going to have a small information display in between the analog gauges, and it's pretty much the same information that you saw last year. So your tire pressure monitoring system, your fuel efficiency, your remaining range, and also, of course, your outside temperature and time. Also found on the steering wheel will be your adaptive cruise control settings and lane centering, and your SI drive modes. Now, personally, I don't think you'll be engaging that at all because with the Premium, you do not get paddle shifters, whereas with the Sport, you do. So the CVT will mimic an 8-speed automatic transmission through manual mode, whereas this is just going to be the CVT, and Subaru's done a great job giving you smoother gear shifts or simulated gear shifts, so I don't think you're going to be worrying about that too much. As an enthusiast, I would go with the Sport to have the paddle shifters, but again, I don't think that's a major feature or something that we're going to be diving into too much for the Premium trim. For the rest of the interior, you will have a USB and USB-C input and still an auxiliary outlet. You're also going to find your electronic parking brake, your 2 cup holders, a 12-volt outlet, and the center storage compartment is pretty deep. So you can store some smaller items such as maybe a small water bottle or two, maybe a wallet, phone, or other smaller gadgets. But lastly, and this is really cool to see up front, is your panoramic sunroof, which brings in a lot of natural light to the interior, but also not a lot of manufacturers give you a pano roof, whereas you're going to get a smaller sunroof or moonroof, and this is a lot better, especially for a vehicle like this. It opens up the interior, makes it feel a lot larger than it is in reality. Now, for passengers in the back, they are going to receive center-mounted air vents to go along with the USB-C and USB input. You are going to notice 2 unlabeled buttons that would be your 2-level heated outboard seats that does not come equipped on the Premium. If you really want that, you'll have to go higher up in the trim levels for 2025. Is that a must-have? Maybe, maybe not. That's up to you guys to decide. Also, you are going to receive a center armrest with 2 cup holders. And then lastly, but not as noteworthy, and it does get buried in the accessories that Subaru does offer for the Premium, but for the Forester in general, is LED interior lighting. And this does make a world of a difference, especially if you do have a smaller family and it's late at night, you want to have that better visibility. That is better than the incandescent bulbs that do come standard. Making our way around to the back one more time, this is the huge feature I know a lot of people definitely want to have in a vehicle that you don't have to spend over $40,000 to receive, and that is the power liftgate. Again, this is packaged with the blind spot detection and rear cross traffic alert. This adds so much more convenience, especially if you do carry a lot of equipment like I do with all my camera gear. Now back here, you do have a lot more tie-down points than you did in the past, and some of the anchors are installed on our model. Now, you can move them around, which gives you more flexibility, but also you can put some netting back here. You can also adjust these anchors to higher up in the back or further deeper in the cargo area, or even up here on the tailgate. And maybe it's late at night, you're out camping, you might want to hang something from here. You can do that, no problem. So Subaru for 2025 has really focused primarily on the buyer who does have more of an active lifestyle, which most Subaru owners do. Now, also back here for the Premium, you do get a rear cargo cover, which will keep all your valuable items out of sight. So if you are like me and you have camera gear or anything else of value, you can leave them back here and have that peace of mind knowing that no one will be able to peek in and steal what you have. Better yet, beneath the floor mat, you are going to find a spare tire. So if you encounter a flat on your road trips or travels, you can fix that and be back on the road. Now, one small feature, one very minor feature that is missing for the 2025 Forester Premium is the quick release latches that will lower the second row seats conveniently. Now, on the 2025 Outback Premium, that is equipped. Is that a make or break deal? I don't think so at all. But if you do want to have some of those extra creature comforts and convenience, you might want to go higher up in the trim levels for 2025 with the Forester. And those are the features that makes up the 2025 Subaru Forester Premium. Compared to last generation, this vehicle has come a very long way. As we talked about before, for the 2024 Subaru Forester Premium, you were missing out on a lot of features such as the technology, the creature comforts, and just the overall value. Whereas for 2025, you don't feel as compelled to go higher up in the trim levels such as a limited or touring, maybe even the sport. And I think you could be very happy with the Premium with or without the optional package that gives you blind spot detection, rear cross traffic alert, and that power liftgate. Personally, I would go with that package just for the extra safety and convenience, but that is up to you. But honestly, I think at $32,000, Subaru's done a very good job with their lower trim that gives you everything you could possibly desire in a daily driver that is affordable, economical, but also family friendly. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, comment, share, and subscribe for more, and I will see you guys next time.